Hi everyone, welcome to this video for D100 Space. This is episode 5 and we're going to take a look at space cruise tests. But if you didn't see it, please check out episode 4 and even some of the other episodes in the series. In episode 4 we went through jump tests and how you move from star system to star system. We did the jump from Artemis to Vinwa, so that's worth checking out. It kind of sort of like links into this video. So like I say, please do check that out. But essentially in this video we're going to be moving from zones. So we've landed in the Vinwa system. When you finish a jump test and you end up in a new star system, you end up in zone 1 in this entry point zone here, and then you need to move backwards and forwards to interact with the star system's points of interest. So you'll be needing to make space cruise tests to move backwards and forwards, and we'll take a look at that. I'm going to put this sheet up out the way, but I'm going to keep the zone we're in, the Vinwa system, in view, and I'm going to place a token to say that that's the star system we're in. And then we're going to take a look at how we're going to move across, probably go to Rebel base and get there, and then probably in the next video we'll take a look at how to interact with that point of interest, which is a military dock. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual test itself. It's a space cruise test. It's based on intelligence and it gains plus or minus the control modifier. So the control modifier of our captain's starship is 15. And so what you need to do is you need to add the control modifier to the intelligence. His intelligence is 35, so we add 15 to that and that becomes 50. If we'd had pilots on board, we could have used them and they would have bolstered that test as well and given us pluses to that. We haven't got any pilots on board, so we're testing at 50 or less every time we make that test. Okay, so some of the features to be aware of is there's 10 zones in each star system. Okay, when you move to a star system you're in zone 1, so as we explained we landed in the Vinwa system, so you actually begin the star system in zone 1 after your jump test, and then in each zone that has a point of interest you may interact with it. So like I say, we're going to head to Rebel base and then interact with that point of interest. You can move past them, you don't need to interact with each one. You can move past and go to any of these points of interest, just moving backwards and forwards, and then when you're in there you make the decision whether you want to interact with it or not. Okay, and at any point and from any zone you might decide that you want to move away. So we might decide that we want to move away from Vinwa and go to Impfar, for instance, or we want to go back to Artemis. And the way it works is you can be in any of the zones. You don't need to go back to zone 1 to make that jump test. So we could literally be in this zone and then decide to make a jump test to say Impfar and head on from there. Okay, so you don't need to be in the entry zone to leave the star system, but you always begin in the entry zone when you first enter the star system. Okay, so let's take a look at this then. So I'm gonna try and move from zone 1 to zone 2 now, and I need to make that test. So it's just basically a case of making the die roll. We've rolled 18, which is a pass. We needed 50 or less to pass, so it costs us 1 power level and we move to the adjacent zone. So that's as simple as it gets. You just move over to that zone. Okay, and then it costs 1 power, so I'm going to deduct that, so I'm now on 20 power. And notice if you watch the video about jump tests, you had to account for fuel. On space cruise tests there's no fuel involved, you're just using the power thrusters from the actual starship to just basically glide through and move to the next zone. Okay, and then we're going to make another test and move to Rebel base. Okay, I shouldn't move in first, so let's see. Okay, I've rolled a 70, so that's a fail. The failure says -1 power level, and you stay in zone. So there was no movement that time, the thrusters didn't engage properly, and we never got to actually travel, so it's actually cost us another power level. And that's basically it. You just carry on rolling. I've passed that test, so I've now reached Rebel Base, and that's cost another power. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do Space Cruise test. Pretty straightforward. It's a basic sort of test, and you literally just move from one zone to the next adjacent. So that concludes this video. Thanks for watching. I know it's quite straightforward and a quick one, but I think it was well worth going into the details of the test and how you land in the zone and how you can move from the zone. So I hope it was useful to you, and until next time, take care.